The Makita 40 volt chainsaws are finally here, and there's plenty of other new stuff too. This is the new 350mm long or 14-inch top-handled arborist style 40 volt max chainsaw. If you're in the States, that's the model number. If you're in New Zealand or Australia or the UK or most of the world, it'll be the UC004G. And I think if you're in Japan, it'll be the MUC004G. There seems to be more different numbers with the chainsaws than there is with other tools. Anyway, we'll take a look at more of the chainsaws a little bit later, but first up, let's take a look at, a polisher. But before we get into it, if you would like to win a brand new 18 volt impact wrench, well, take a look down in the comment section. The very top comment, it'll be made by me, and, oh, that's you. It'll be made by me. There'll be a link in that comment. Click on that link, watch that video, subscribe to that channel, and leave a comment saying what country you come from. This is open to everybody on planet Earth. But a warning, if anybody replies telling you you've won or that you might have won and asks you to send shipping money to them, that sort of thing, that's not me. I will never ask you for money. Nobody who gives away stuff asks you for money. Don't fall for it. There's a lot of scams going around on YouTube at the moment, and they usually steal your avatar, so it'll have my avatar maybe, but it'll be a WhatsApp number for the name. Don't fall for it. A genuine YouTube comment will be highlighted like this. That's how you know it's the original owner of the channel. It's got that extra color around it there. If it hasn't got that, it's fake. Don't reply. If you're not sure, have a look at the video. If every comment's got the same reply, it's fake. You haven't won, and I will be deleting those comments as quickly as I find them. It's happened to me 3, maybe 4 times now in the last 2 weeks. Hopefully I've got it under control, but they'll no doubt come up with another way to get around the things I've put in place. You'll know if you have won. I'm not going to tell you how you'll know, but you'll definitely know. Oh, and there's less than 400 chances left to win this, because once that channel's got 1,000 subscribers, that competition will be closing. So get over there quick. Now, on with the rest of the video. Now, most of the tools that I'm talking about in this video, you can get if you're super into getting Makita tools before anybody else. But you have to get them from Japan. Most of them will not be available in other countries. So if you're interested, take a look down in the description. There'll be some links down there to buy some of these cool tools that aren't yet available in most of the world. But if you're interested in the planer, which we spoke about in a recent video, the new reciprocating saw, the JR002G, looks like a mean beast, and of course the HS001G, the 10¼ inch track compatible circular saw with a cutting depth of 97mm, almost 4 inches, then take a look down there. There'll be more information about those, as well as the other things I talk about in this video. Some of them I may not be able to find links to. I don't think you're going to be able to find that heat gun yet, and these are still quite tricky to find in many parts of the world. You haven't seen my video for this little blower. And if you're new here and you don't normally watch my videos and you're into Makita stuff, well, you've got to make sure you subscribe, because I don't know, I don't think anybody does more Makita stuff than I do. You'll have to ask other people in the comments about that. But I think that's the way it goes. So like, subscribe, all that stuff. The PV001G is a 180mm polisher. It is IPX6 rated and weighs 3.2 kgs. It is variable speed from 600 revolutions per minute to 2,200. 180mm is 7 inches, which is substantially bigger than the last 18 volt version, which I do believe was a 5-inch one, 125mm. That does come with different attachments. If you wish, you can get 100mm and 150. So this one starts at 180, and I imagine it would do fine with 230 or 9 inches as well. The handle's a bit different from the DPO500, the last 18 volt version, which had a side handle and a handle on the front, whereas this new one has more of a over-the-top D-shaped handle that's right where you need the pressure, right above the center of your polishing pad. That's all I'm going to say about that, because it's not that exciting, it's only a polisher. Next up, we've got a vibrator. The VR001G, or in the States, the GRV01, is the first Makita 40 volt concrete vibrator. The differences between it and the predecessor, the 18 volt model, is that the 18 volt model has a 25mm vibrating tip. Ooh. And the 40 volt has a 28 or a 32, so take your pick on how big you want to vibrate. There's also 3 different lengths of shaft. the 800mm, the 1.2m and the 1.7, whereas the 18 volt I think only comes with 800. You might be able to get a 1.2, but I think they're completely different tools, whereas the 40 volt is interchangeable, so you can just pick your shaft length depending on your application, as well as your vibrating head. There's just no easy way to talk about this, is there, without it sounding a little bit dodge. I think I'd better move on. How about the 18 volt heat gun? Yes, I know we have already covered that, the HG181D or the DHG181, or what will it be in the States? The XGH01? Now I'm just mentioning this again because it was announced quite some time ago and I put it in a previous video and it still hasn't eventuated. I inquired about it the other day and it looks like it's not going to be till about April that we get it here in New Zealand, and then I've just seen that they've reissued the statements about it again. So it was meant to be released in November last year. It's now February this year. There was obviously a delay in manufacture or something like that. No doubt down to that little bug that's going about. And let's get on to the next one, which is one I know one particular avid watcher of mine is going to be super happy about. And that is the new 40 volt CS001G, or in the States, the GSC01. And what is it? It's this, a 185mm metal cutting saw with a depth of cut of 67mm. A lot of you have wanted a metal cutting saw on the 40 volt system, and it doesn't look like Makita have disappointed with this one. This thing looks mean, and I'm loving the chip collection area on the front that you just take off and tip out all your filings. That works well. I'll be super happy because I do get a bit annoyed with my 18 volt one and all the stuff going everywhere and catching in the bottom guard, and then you lift it up and it all drops out on the ground everywhere and stuff like that. I'm loving the look of the handle that wraps from the front round to the left of the tool. Doesn't look like it has any bevel capacity though, just like the 18 volt versions, although you're less likely to do that with metal than you are with wood. It's IP56 rated, which most of the new Makita 40 volt stuff is. Something like this blower isn't, because of the nature of it. If water gets in there, it's got to have big open areas, and if water gets in there it gets into the electronics pretty easy. But most of the stuff is IPX4, IPX6, IP56, IP65, all these funny numbers. I'll explain what they all mean one day, in case you're not sure. But today we're just talking about new stuff. It's fairly heavy in the weight department, coming in at over 4 kgs, looking at around 4.3. I think that's bare tool, not battery, but I'm not sure. And it has an RPM of 3,500. I'm super looking forward to getting one of those. I still use the old, the DCS550, the 18 volt one, and I've been meaning to upgrade as they've gone along, and I've never gotten around to it. But now I can just jump straight to the 40 volt one, so I'm looking forward to comparing it to my old one. I love this little old 18 volt one, but like I say, there's nowhere for the chips to go. They removed the chip collection thing for some reason, so it does cause issues. And something with a little bit more power would be nice. This one's still brushed, look at that. Anyway, that will soon be replaced when I get the other one, no doubt. Hopefully that won't be too far away. Now this next one's a bit of an oddball one, and I have very little information about it. It's only just come to me. Someone on Instagram sent it to me, thanks for that. And it's a lantern slash torch slash radio slash USB charger that clips on top of a battery. It's like an old school camping lantern sort of look, and it's going to be released in 12 volt, 14.4 volt, 18 volt and 40 volt. In the 40 volt you'll get the option of the standard teal or the olive green. They're doing a lot of these olive green ones and a lot of these camping sort of tools, outdoor camping sort of stuff. If you want the 12 volt or the LXT one, then you will only be able to get it in teal. I'll give the Japanese number, but I don't know what these numbers will be once they're worked out in the rest of the world. The 40 volt one is the MR008G, and the 18 volt one is the MR054, and the MR053 is the 12 volt model. But as for images, this is all I have. Can't find much information as of yet, but from what I can garner from this one image I have here, it has 20 LEDs, unless you get the 12 volt one, which has 24. Interesting. The torch on the top has a high and low setting. There are 3 settings of color. So, you know, if you don't like that bright white look, then you can have a warm white. So you've got a 2.5K, 3.5K and 5K lighting setting. So that's about all I know, and I'll try and get you more information about that one maybe in a future video. And now the moment you've been waiting for, 40 volt chainsaws. Now I know a lot of you want an 80 volt chainsaw, and I'm pretty certain there'll be one on the way. But until such time, the 40 volt ones have been released. This is an arborist style, top handle, 40 volt chainsaw. It is the UC004G. In the States, I'm not sure, I'm guessing this will be the first model you guys get, so it'll be the GCU01, probably, don't hold me to that. It's a 350mm or 14-inch chainsaw. As you've probably already noticed, it's a bit dustier than it was at the beginning of the video. I have been using it. It's a nice improvement over the other little arborist one I was using before, which is the 18 volt DUC254. This is basically the same sort of tool. It's exactly the same sort of style. Size wise, they're pretty similar. The 40 volts not much bigger. Now from what I can gather, there are 8 or 9 of these saws with this style case. I don't know what number you're going to get where you live, and they may have slightly different chain speeds, and they definitely have different bar lengths. I think they start probably at 250 and maybe go up to 400, I'm not sure. This is the only one that's been released so far in New Zealand. The full review for this tool should hopefully be out tomorrow, so if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed and you ring the little bloody bell. And let's look at the next chainsaw. So a 40 volt redesign of this particular saw has just been announced. It is the same basic shape, but they've done quite an overhaul on the design. Gone are the battery checking lights. Gone is this system for undoing your cover to get to your chain. Instead it'll be old school, do it with one of these, 2 nuts, captive nuts. Still got the same sort of power button system on the back. This handle's all plastic. It looks like the new 40 volt one is metal. This 18x2 model is the equivalent of a 32cc chainsaw. The new 40 volt one, which remember is still 36 volts, same as this, they've managed to get another 10cc out of it, 42cc equivalent. And a chain speed of 25.5 meters per second. And it comes in teal and orange, so hopefully that'll keep some of you happy, but I know some of you still want an 80 volt one, 40 volt times 2, I'm sure it'll happen, and when it does, you'll be the first to know, okay? This little one-handed 40 volt arborist style one is 30 cc's, and I think this little 18 volt one is 25, 24, something like that. Anyway, that's it for chainsaws at the moment. If you saw a previous video of mine, you will see that they have already got a pole chainsaw on the way as well. This 18x2 chainsaw came with a 350mm or 14-inch bar in this part of the world. You can also get them with 16-inch bars or 400mm. I'm not going to give you the model numbers because there's going to be so many changes, I think, to the model numbers that have been released in Japan for the rest of the world. So I mean, there's 300mm bars right up to 450, there's different chains, there's different colors, so yeah, I'll give you a bit more info on that when we get closer to them actually being released in the rest of the world. If you're new to my channel and you've made it this far through the video, cheers for that. The review, like I say, hopefully for this, out tomorrow. Subscribe down there. If it's not tomorrow, it'll be within the next week. I got a lot of videos half filmed, a lot of things being done, so I'm not sure which one will be out, but hopefully it'll be this. So thanks for watching, what's this, part 4 of my upcoming Makita Tools for 2022. Not a lot of 18 volt stuff again, I'm afraid. 40 volt is what's been released flat tack at the moment, trying to catch up to the 18 volt, so that's what I am reviewing. So, till next time, see you later, have a good one.